Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, it's so good to see everybody. Coining arounds in the chat Tuesday. Hello there, Tupac. Yeah, Christopher, it's nice to see you. It's a kind of a wet and dreary day here up in Edmonton, Alberta, but we're doing the best we can. We certainly need the precipitation, and that'll definitely help with the fires that they had in northern Alberta and BC. So that's a good thing. Hello, Noah's World. Good to see you. I'm enjoying my Starbucks. I'm spoiling myself today, but oh my goodness, that's good. So today we're gonna be chatting about Lachine back in 1689. And that was the year of the big massacre, and then we'll carry on. We'll do a little bit of general numismatic discussion. It's kind of nice to be able to sit back and relax and think about our wonderful hobby that we're involved with. But today's a little different because one of the problems I've had with this particular topic is that any of the videos about the Lachine massacre, they're all in French, and it's just a gentleman talking like I am, which doesn't really motivate a person to hang around and watch too much. So I'm going to be uh, carrying on verbatim with the material I have. And I do have some pictures to share as well, so you have an idea what I'm talking about. And if you can stay awake, it's actually quite interesting because Canada, like I've said before, there's two sides to every coin. And what they've taught in schools and what actually happened tend to be a fair bit different from each other. Again, it's atypical that the victors write the history, and you don't get the entire picture. And it's kind of nice to be able to see that. Canada, even right from the beginning, was not a peaceful country. It just wasn't. It was brutal. Be thankful you're living at a time that you're living now, whereas we have got some sort of civilization happening. We've got modern toilets and water flowing into our homes and local grocery stores. You don't have to go out hunting, or if you do, it's just for sport and fishing and that sort of thing. And back then, it was a matter of survival, and it was quite a brutal time to live in. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to bring on some of the pictures I have. I'll put them over. Last time I was on, we did cover. I showed you some of the currencies. So I'll really quickly show you that the currencies that they had back at that time was quite a bit different than what we have. And I'm not going to change it from last week's because it's essentially we're in the same time period. But as you can see, they used some unusual items, including playing cards for currencies. So that's essentially what we have as far as the currencies going back then. But as far as what went on, well, we're talking about 1689, the year of the massacre at Lachine. And it was not a good time to be living there. What I have here, it says Lachine, years after the infamous massacre of 1689, here an unknown number of inhabitants were killed, tortured, and captured by the Iroquois. French reluctance to make a stand against the invaders left an atmosphere of mingled fear and mistrust. Those tribes friendly to the French, wrote one embittered Frenchman, no longer saw in us their protectors, whom they would defend against the whole world. To their mind, we seemed half asleep with our houses burned, our inhabitants made captive, and the best parish of our country entirely ruined, and all this without showing any signs of emotion. An interesting little tidbit from the gentleman that wrote it right back then. So what do we have about the year of the massacre? Well, Seneca, Cayuga, Onondaga, Oneida, and Mohawk. These were the League of the Five Nations. The Iroquois Confederacy, some 16,000 strong at the time at the time of the Europeans. They were the most aggressive and organized Indian nation on the continent, and initially viewed by the French not only as invaders in the literal sense, but as business competitors. For the Iroquois, also were traders conducting a lucrative business with the Dutch and English. The Algonquins and their French allies represented a threat to their control of the fur trade, and the Mohawks, situated along the Mohawk River, the link between the Hudson River and Lake Champlain, the Richelieu and the St. Lawrence, were determined to block French access to the Indian tribes to the west. Further to the west, the Oneida and the Onondaga Indians cut the French-Huron communication line by following the rivers from the Finger Lakes to Lake Ontario, and thence along the Cataraqui-Rideau River route to the Ottawa, or by following the lakes and rivers which penetrated to the very heart of the Huron country near Georgian Bay. From the land of the Seneca, war parties crossed the Niagara River and probed deeply into enemy territory. It was against this formidable foe that Champlain irrevocably allied the French cause with his arquebus. With their defeat at Ticonderoga, the Iroquois nation was transformed from ruthless business competitor to bloodthirsty foe, having resolved to avenge themselves and drive the French out of the country. Armed by the obliging Dutch, who welcomed this development as a golden opportunity to become silent partners with the ambitious Iroquois, the Confederacy launched a reign of terror, which George Stanley, author of Canada's Soldiers, has termed one of the greatest offenses in Indian history. The Iroquois completely overwhelming their Indian rivals. Raiding parties of the Iroquois ranged from Lake Michigan to the Kennebec and from Tennessee north beyond the Ottawa. From the Cherokee, they wrested the land south of the Ohio to the Great Bend in the Tennessee River. So it was quite a wide area that they were covering. The Mohicans were mostly, the Mohican were almost annihilated, and the Delaware made a subject nation and designated as women. Iroquois war parties compelled the Huron on the islands of Orleans to seek refuge behind the walls of Quebec. North of Lake Ontario, the Huron, the neutral nation, and the Erie were practically destroyed as independent peoples. To every point of the compass, the Iroquois carried torch and torture and extended the power of the Confederacy. In the year 1689, the Iroquois carried torch and torture to the French with a vengeance. For all the Iroquois strength, attacks upon the French continued to be sporadic and small scale. Isolated farmhouses, farmers in their fields, and the occasional army patrol, there remained. For the infamous treachery of the Marquis de Denonville, governor of New France, to provoke the Iroquois to a full-scale attack on the unsuspecting parish of St. Louis, and as a result, write one of the bloodiest pages in the history of the country. And you got to understand, the siege of Lachine was absolutely horrific. They ended up attacking the seigneur's house that was there. Actually, one of the things that I come up with, that there is actually a placard, says during the night of the 4th, 5th August, 1689, 1,500 Iroquois landed at Lachine and placed themselves in small groups near all the houses along the shore. At a given signal, the massacre began. 200 persons perished and 120 were taken into captivity. The year 1689 was long known as the year of the massacre. So it's historical significance of this nature that tends to be lost in history. And as you can tell, a lot of it was stirred up by the French, and it didn't go very well for anybody at that time. Yeah, it's an interesting thought that Canada could have been so violent, but at the same rate, uh, so uh, brutal in nature, where you had people just for the sake of the fur trade and for profit would encourage people to battle one another. And uh, the English, the Dutch, the French, there was a lot going on back then. And I'm so happy that we live in a time that we're living in now. And that's my little blurb on the massacre at Lachine. It's uh, something, if you want to look into more, I would encourage it. But in the meantime, let's relax and be thankful that we're living in a time that we're at now. And let's talk a little bit about coins and collecting numismatic material. And oh, I see Nick. Nick, your package is right here. I'm just getting it ready to send out to you. Uh, it's going to be one of those months where I'm playing catch up, and we'll try to make sure that everybody gets the packages that I have for them. I'm going to encourage everybody to try to do the daily challenge. Don't miss out on that. Uh, what we're trying to do is stimulate people to look up their own information. Um, if you the more information you provide, the more detail, the more you'll be considered for a sticker, and maybe even the odd coin I might throw in every 7 days. I will try to swap out different time periods. I'll go back and forth and whatnot, so it's not all the same coin series. It's gonna be different, but I want to encourage you to learn. And those of you that haven't got a lot of resources, people like Nick Molnar, he's got some incredible information on his YouTube channel where he gets into quite a bit of detail, and that's the kind of detail I'm looking for. So again, he's providing it. I'm looking for it, and if you're willing to share it, please do share it here. So for those of you that are in chat, please do like and subscribe if you haven't, and by all means, if you got anything you want to share with the old skipper here, by all means, please do. Because right now, what I'm doing is I'm sorting through my albums. These wonderful little things. I don't have very many of the slab coins. And oh, passion! Hello there, Jessica. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I'm trying to encourage people to really take the hobby to the next level. If you if you've got coins and you're throwing it in a jar, it's not the same as if you're sorting through them, trying to identify, trying to evaluate your coins so you have a rough estimate of what their grade is. And that's something I can talk on too real quick. Like I see a lot of coins coming across online where they've actually written in the actual what they consider the grade on the thing. You should never look at those. Don't forget, because they're not professional graders. You have different levels of trying to figure out what the grade is. The first level is evaluation. If you Oh, very interesting. I don't know what the heck's happening here. got I got a blank screen. How did I do that? That's weird. Hold on. Very interesting. Okay. Well, I'll go that way. that was really bizarre. Yeah, I shouldn't be freezing. Okay, what was I talking about? Oh yes, um, we're talking about grading and how people tend, many folks write the grade on the flips. Don't pay attention to that. That's not a grade. There's again three levels you should be looking at: the evaluation, which can be done at an evaluation table at a coin show or at a dealer who is trained to evaluate. You have assessment, and the assessment can be a verbal assessment or a written assessment. Now, verbal assessment is a little bit better, but those that are doing the assessments have got to be careful, because if you're telling a person that it's a certain grade and it's got a certain value, and especially if you got it written down, they can come back to you and they can demand the difference. So you've got to be careful with assessments. And then you have grading. You have various tiers of grading companies, and I'm sure that any numismatist will tell you, strive to use upper tier grading companies. So whether it be PCGS, NGC, one of the companies we have here in Canada, ICCS, except ICCS does not put their coins into slabs. They put them into envelopes with an attribution that's attached to them. And so that way, you can take a look at what quality of coin that you're getting, and you should always strive in your collection. And it doesn't have to be right away. You can get fillers, whether they be old or so well worn you can barely read them. But you should strive to get EF or VF minimum for your collection. By doing that, at least they look attractive, and you can tell what the coins are. So it's something to strive for. Now, have them in either flips or in books. Flips are fine. They're great, as long as you make sure that when you do if you're using staples, use a pair of pliers. They got some really good ones here. See if I can bring one up. Get ones like this. See how wide that is? And you can press down the staple so that it doesn't destroy your sheet, and it's easier to slide in. And yeah, of course, everybody's at different levels, Jessica. So that's understandable, and that's where those that have got more experience, like Williams there, and Jesus, nice to see him here, and Tupac and these guys, and oh gosh, there's Christopher. Even I think Christopher Ty's pretty good at what he's doing. You have all these wonderful people that can help you out in the collecting community online. Yeah, it's good to be able to rely on those people, and they're willing to share, which is one of the nicest things, because the better we work within the coin collecting community, the better our hobby is. Yeah, where was I now? One of the things that you got to look at too with coin collecting too, and it's a neglected part by many. Log the collection you have. You can do it online, or you can do it using Excel spreadsheets, which is what I do. I'm sure some of the other guys here can share some of the other ones that are out there, where you can actually take a photograph of your coin and actually log it in. And I forget the name of the program, but it's out there that you can use. A lot of guys and gals use it. when you're searching or researching information about coins, don't forget that we do have books, and whether you're in the U.S. and you're using the red book or the gray sheets, or Canada, we have the Charlton and we have the Coins of Canada. That's it. Numista is the other one that was slipped my mind. Uh, that one's a great one, especially if you're beginning, because if you start off with it, stick with it. It would take me months. It would take me, and not to mention all the work I did on my spreadsheets. It would take me months to start transferring it all over. But that is a good thing to have. And of course, by getting what I like about the spreadsheets is that you can take your collection into a coin show or a coin club. I'm with the Numismatic Society. I can take it in there. You have dealers, and you have pretty well. You've got the expertise of the coin community sitting right there, and you can spend time using the various programs here. I use the Saskatoon Coin Club online to estimate evaluate what the grade is, approximate grade is for my coins, and I put it on my sheets. Then I take my collection in, sit down, and last time I was there, I must have had 10 or 15 people all the way around. It was really cool, and everybody is taking a look at it and giving me an idea of what they figure the grade is on the thing. So you're getting a really good evaluation of what your coin is. Mark it down on your sheet. If it's a really a key date, something that's really in good shape, go ahead and get it slabbed, get it graded, because it's worth it if the coin is worth it. You don't want to be spending more money in grading than the coin is worth. And I'm pretty sure anybody here will agree with that. You want to make sure the coins that you are having graded are worthy of being graded. Yeah, it's this hobby can be bloody fun. The other thing too is you got to look at now I'm talking coins that have been in circulation and whatnot. But as you can see behind me, I've got a lot of stuff that are in sets, are mint. I would suggest that you don't just buy a coin for the sake of it coming up. Impulse buys. Impulse buying is not a good thing. If it's something that you like and you want to collect it, fine, collect it. But don't just collect it for the sake of saying, "Oh, I got to have one of those because it's out being sold." I mean, Bradford Exchange would really love you. You want to make sure that you're collecting what you enjoy collecting, and whether it can be a theme. If you can be me, even though my wife is upset with me by doing it, but I've started a separate section on Christmas coins. Canada has got some of the most beautiful Christmas coins I've ever seen, and since I'm in that business, I am starting to collect those. But my majority of my mint coins, and regardless of where they're from, they're all military related. So if you see back there, you can see the Minuteman, or the blue coat and the red coat in the cabinet, and all the different coins and different flags and little things about Pearl Harbor's there, because I had family that went down on the Arizona. Those are things that you collect because they have a meaning for you, and it makes it that much more enjoyable. The other thing too is you have to decide on whether you want to have a collection where you can have it out displayed, which means you're going to have to look at least 7 levels of security, because if you're displaying coins in your house, you're a prime target. So you got to make sure that you protect your collection. If you're not big on displays, make sure you've got them put away in a very safe place, and don't be afraid of using multiple locations. If you have a small lockbox, put a few junk pieces in there as bait, and you hide the real expensive stuff somewhere else, or heaven forbid, in a safe deposit bucks. Excuse me. The Isle of Man is famous for doing coins like that, Chris. It's the I'm actually looking at eventually getting a few of theirs as well. They're really nice. And yeah, of course, William, I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you. Yeah, that's an interest. I keep forgetting about the air. I should talk on that too because a lot of us are not into the era coins, but I won't turn it down. I'll put them aside somewhere and hold on to them. A lot of people really like these era coins, especially in the U.S. Uh, my experience, a lot of Canadians aren't as keen on them. But again, it's up to you as an individual collector whether you want them or not. But some of those era coins can be worth a lot of money. Now, does anyone else have anything else they'd like to add? Yeah, I've seen some incredible errors. I I think the ones that I would really now I've seen the ones where they're off center and all that stuff for certain ones. It's the ones that are misstamped, like having this one side of the coin is a penny and the other side's got the stamp of a dime. Like I would love to get a hold of a couple of those. Oh, me sailing days are over. Yeah, yeah. I've done my time in the Bay of Fundy and on the Great Lakes. I'm retired. I'm actually sailing a prairie schooner now. I get to see uh, fields of wheat and buffalo and gophers. That's good advice. Yeah, don't buy the slab, buy the coin. The only good thing about the slab is the fact that it's protected and it's been graded. But buy the coin if you enjoy it. Um, I know a lot of the guys and gals are really into the classical numismatics, which I envy them because I don't have the patience for it. I collect a few of them, but they are a bugger to identify. And unless they come with an attribution already with it, which is how I'm getting mine from now on, you have to learn how to patiently be able to identify these things. And one of the sites on the internet that you can go to is called Wild Winds, and Wild Winds is a fabulous resource if you want to try to identify ancient coins. But again, you have to really have a lot of patience. And I think one of the best pieces of advice that I've ever gotten is from, unfortunately, he just passed away here a couple months ago. A gentleman collected beautiful ancient coins. He'd actually go to Greece and all through the Mediterranean picking up these fabulous finds. And I was sitting at one of the meetings and he slapped one in my hand and it was gold. And I'm like, wow. And he says, yes, he paid $20,000 for it. And I'm holding this thing raw in my hand. I says, why isn't this in a slab? Why is it like this? He says, because ancient coins should be handled. They're meant to be handled. And I said, oh, that's different. I said, so even though I've seen ancient slabbed, most of the ones I've seen up here in Canada have been raw. They've actually they really like having the raw coins. I forgot what the denomination was. It was just one of those things where he was doing a lecture on ancient coins in Greece, And what I do remember about it is it had an owl on it. So Stamos, I'm not sure what. Again, I have very little knowledge when it comes to a lot of the ancient coins, even though it fascinates me. Yeah, are you serious? You have two large busts. I have one, but it's scratched. I don't get that at all. Oh yeah, like I say, you can get them. Yeah. See, yeah, Stamos would know that. Athenian. So it's very cool to see these things, and of course, those of you that aren't aware, there's also a related part of our hobby, which is exonumia, and that's items that are not really coin or paper money, but they're, for instance, you talk even challenge coins. Um, they're they're in the category, but they're not. And it can be items, not even a coin. It could be something that's related to a coin. Like I do. I anchor because I have military coins. I anchor items that are related to that coin in the case for display purposes, and that's essentially exonumia as well. I have little tanks and carriers and all kinds of weird things. Well, that's generous. Yeah. Large and small bust for 73. They're nice to have in your collection. Uh, I'm at the stage, and oh, that's another thing too, especially for new collectors. As a new collector, don't make your life hard. Start with the newer ones, work your way backwards. I find that's the easiest way. Eventually, you get to the point where you start going, "Whoa, these things are getting hard to find," or "Whoa, they're expensive." Your uh, tokens are, yeah, that's exonumia too. Tokens are. In fact, I dabble in some of them. Do I have some of them here close by? Oh, I do. It can be simple little things. Okay, there I got some tokens that I started to collect. And these ones here are actually for my coin club, but the coin club started back in 53. So if I want them all, it's going to take a little bit of work, but I thought I'd start collecting those as well. Again, my experience, if you collect coins, you probably collect other things. Well, I collect hats, I collect challenge coins, I collect mugs, I collect pins, I collect military related books. I've got some books there that are quite nice. What do you mean old times? That was the year I was born. I just wish I'd started collecting back then. That's right. That's right. You find that there's no mint mark, then it's a Philadelphia. Yeah, I'm actually starting my U.S. collection all over again because as many of you may know, I sold my entire U.S. collection back in the fall, and now I'm missing it. So now but then again, too, now I get to start all over, and it's like, wow, okay, this is cool. I'm just looking forward to the time when I can cross the border and go visit some of my friends down there, and I'd like to go to the coin show in Vegas because it's probably the cheapest trip I could take. I think it's only a couple $100 to travel to Las Vegas from here. So that's round trip. So it would be nice to do that and maybe play some poker or whatever. It's just my thing. Well, of course, yeah. Low mintage is again, key dates are always going to cost you, uh, uh, and doing the low mintage ones, is a good way to start. Also, a lot of these books, and I can't wait till I get. I'm looking to get some of the new Dansko albums, which I understand are now being remade, which is a thrill because I like the covers. I don't like the covers with all the colors and things on it. They're okay. But what I do like about these kind of albums is it tells you information on the covers, and it gives you a great bit of detail about the coins. And in the back, which I really like, is that at a glance, you can see key dates. You can see dates that have really a ton of coins that were made, so it's going to be cheaper. And I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe Dansko does something similar to that. But I like the album covers on the Dansko ones, so that's what I'm going to look at doing for the U.S. collection that I get. And yes, I don't mind collecting 1 cent coins, but my favorite, I have to be honest with myself, Morgan dollars. Not too keen on peace. Morgan dollars and walking liberties are cool. You want to deliberate on that a little bit more, William? You don't understand the archival quality, uh, as in the quality of the actual album itself. And there's our consummate goofball. Thank you for showing up, Field Guy. Always a pleasure having you in. Oh, okay, yeah. Well, that's another thing you got to look for because uh, you got to stay away from PCB and all that stuff that'll cause your coins to uh, end up with a crud surface on them. If the materials deemed safe, well, that's fine. It's but again, make sure that they're recognizable albums like Dansko. Um, Last time I collected the U.S. coins, I used the Whitman and the Littleton albums. I didn't like pushing them into those little slots. I like the fact that they got something to cover them, and you can see both the obverse and reverse, which is nice. I would hope so for the price you pay for them, but again, I hear that the prices come down quite a bit. A lot of people don't like the toning. I find a lot it has to do with, for instance, I'm in a fairly dark environment. If I was in a well lit room, then you probably start having issues with toning. But if you have subdued lighting, it's not as much an issue. Well, that's one for our American friends because I couldn't tell you. I sold all my Canadian gold last year when it was like $1,400 for an ounce, and now I'm looking at it, it's like over 3 grand. I'm cringing. And look who's here. Blistering Barnacle Adventures. There's a great channel to go visit. I really enjoy visiting my friend over there in the UK. What kind of adventures are you into this time, Jamie? If it doesn't have a dollar amount on it, William, it's a round. If it has a dollar figure on it, it is a coin. That's where a lot of people mistake the fact. You get something that's a silver round, and I've seen lots of them. They're gorgeous, but they're not coins. They're rounds. Okay, well then you're having a good day. Yeah, I haven't picked up a lot of coins lately. Um, I'm sending a fair number of them out, but as far as picking up new ones, it's one of those things where now I'm at the stage where when I'm looking for a coin, and a good example, like I can't remember which one it was. I went in and I saw one of the ones I needed for my collection, and he hit me with 1,000. It's going to cost me over $1,000. And I said, I'm pretty sure it was a dime. He wanted $1,000 for this thing. No, uh, I'm going to hold my marriage together and stay away from those. So as many of us have to bite the bullet to and admit that we won't be able to complete the collection the way you'd like to, you got to look at your budget. Yeah, let's keep the politics away. Don't need it. Got enough. Enjoy the peace. Not in Canada. We don't. Rounds do not have dollar amounts, not unless it's the only ones that I can think of are uh, what do you call them? Commemorative dollars that are used for events, like the Calgary Stampede had one that was only worth a buck, and it had a dollar amount on it. It was worth a buck during the Stampede itself. After that, it wasn't. So, but those are few and far between. Yeah. The other thing for you new collectors, when you get to the point where you start to identify and you want to evaluate your coins, get some tools. Nothing wrong with a small scale, a set of calipers. Uh, you know, if you're curious whether the thing is uh, a genuine item or not, don't just go out and purchase it. Ask first. And I'll give you a classic example. My son Andrew, he notified me yesterday, and I just about melted when he said this to me. He says, "Dad, I found a real good deal online there, and I forget what freaking out sales area that he was purchasing. He orders in these silver bars, and the first red flag was, as soon as he showed me a picture, they were Nazi silver. They had the swastika and the eagle and all that stuff on it. I says, okay. And then he says, yeah, and this is what I paid. I said, well, instantly I can tell you they're fake. They're absolutely fake. He says, yeah, but I got a bunch of them coming to the house, my house. And I said, well, they're junk. So I have one individual who does pours. He melts various metals down, and he pours them into anthills. And I'm going to take a look at these things because, you know, like, I don't handle a lot of fake stuff. And I'm going to send it down so he can melt it. And he makes these pieces of art out of the anthills. Oh, that's what I was just talking about. They're called Klondike dollars. Yes, Klondike dollars is another one and it's Edmonton. Edmonton. Hmm. Really? You know what? I'd love to see those because I've never seen a round that had a dollar figure. If it has a dollar figure on it, it can't be it can't be a round. It's got to be a coin. Yeah, where's mine? Where's my scale? Where's my scale? Nothing fancy. Up off the top. See, yeah, just a tiny little scale. It's okay. I use the when I use my phone, the autocorrect constantly changes. I guess my accent's too harsh. I don't know. I never get it right. Yeah. Yeah, my wife just got in a coin. Actually, got it in from Jason. He sent it from Florida, and it's beautiful, pure silver round, and it's based on the gentleman that the Lone Ranger was modeled after. And and of course, being an old fart, I've just completely forgot his name, but I'll remember it when I don't need it. Yeah, you have a great day too, Passion. I really appreciate the fact that you came in, and by all means, you're welcome at any time. Yeah, it's a lot of fun to do the hobby. The other thing that you should have is get yourself a decent microscope. I still haven't upgraded mine yet, but I picked one up through one of the coin channels, and I think it cost me like $35 or something. It works through OBS, and I was quite surprised to see how good it was. So I'm still using that one to this day, but eventually I'd like to get one a little bit better. Yeah, if you get a chance, check out Passion for Art and some of the channels that she goes on there that have the different auctions and whatnot. I enjoy going to the auction channels. You can pick up the odd piece that's halfway decent, but again, that's another thing too. Is that use a little common sense. If it's something that you can add to your collection, bid on it. If it's something you don't, well, don't. You know, that's the beauty of this, is that you can decide for yourself what you want to add to your collection. Um, I I got, and I'm sure all of you've got this. I got trays and trays and trays of coins that I haven't done proper identification or logging in yet. And a lot of them, if I have any duplicates, well, I'll put them into a package, and we'll do these coin swaps and grab bags, and it's just all part of the fun of being a numismatist and being in this hobby. And the other part that I enjoy most, as you can guess, it's the history behind these coins. We've come a long way from the time when they used cards to as money. That's, you know, that sometimes really floors me when I think back that they use stuff like this. I mean, like, holy mackerel. Uh, but sure enough, I'm positive you get a hold of some of these that are real, they're probably worth a few dollars. Yeah, amazing stuff. And we haven't even gotten to the time when the British took over uh, from New France, and their wonderful way of dealing with currencies. Because I don't know if a lot of you know this, the British didn't like sending silver over here. It was whatever silver they got. A lot of it was stuff that was looted off the Spanish. So you saw a lot of reals over here. But most of the stuff that we ended up in North America was stuff that was copper or bronze. There was very little silver that was made in Britain. Yeah, the world coins are a blast. Um, I've actually, what I did for my world coins, separate from my U.S. and my British, is and I'm sure I've shown this before, but I got an album that's picked that up. I got it from the as a second from the coin shop for, I think I paid $7 for it. That's pretty good for that. And I've got the inserts, and I know it's a little hard to see, but as you can see, I won't show you all of them. They're all in alphabetical order, and the reason why, as world coins, is I went to the internet and I printed off all the different countries, and as I find coins, or if I'm missing them, I look for them, and I add them in alphabetical order into this. They don't have to be valuable ones, but I would like to have at least one coin from every country, including those countries that don't exist anymore. But it's a fun thing to do. Oh, that's great. And I will be looking for the pictures too. I can't wait. And yes, there are scammers out there, and that's why before you purchase, ask around. Uh, the first time I bought an ancient, the guy was average. It was on eBay. It was a silver denarius from Mark Antony's legions. It looked absolutely pristine. I checked with a friend of mine who's in the coin collecting community, who collects ancients. I showed him the pictures. He says, "Don't buy it." He says, "That's a fake. They're trying to make it out that it's real. There's lots of fakes out there." So I took his advice, and every step of the way, I referred to his advice, and I actually picked up an actual silver denarius. Not as good a condition, but it's real and it's silver, from Mark Antony's legions, and it's got the attribution, the whole 9 yards, and that way I know at least it's real. and that's where you have to be really careful. Oh, okay. I can give that to you right now. Boom, there it is. Anybody wishes to write me, by all means, there it is. Redcoat7121 at yahoo.com. And I will gladly take a look what you sent. What's this here? Ah, yes. Discord's got some really good channels on there. Again, that's where I do most of my grab bag swaps. I'm in the Silver Picker squad, and I've through the last number of years, it's been so reliable. You get to know everybody on there that when you do a swap, this isn't you're not buying the grab bags. You're essentially we have a coordinator who's like this kind of like Secret Santa. Uh, we'll set $100 or $200 grab bag, and you will have your name put into a hat, and whoever you get, excuse me, whoever name is drawn, you get. That's who you send your grab bag to. So it's never the person that's direct swapping around. Because you're in the same community, you get to know what each other's interests are. So you're not sending them stuff they wouldn't be interested in. And they also throw in little things like you can throw in, you have to have at least one piece of silver. You have to have a novelty item of some sorts. Some have sent me chocolate bars, all kinds of weird stuff. But it has been a phenomenal way of increasing my collection at the same rate, building a community where you can trust the people that is sending you stuff. And so this, what Blistering Barnacles is showing here is this Discord is very good. Yeah, sorting them can be very time consuming. Again, you're not only just sorting by age, but by country and by whatever the approximate grade might be. That's quite a challenge, but it's again part of the fun of the hobby. It's not just again throwing it into a bottle or a jar. Well, I'll show you. Let's see if I got some here. I had a friend of mine down in Ontario. They have a real problem with counterfeit toonies. And I said, well, you know what? I'm curious to see what they look like. And he sent me 2 examples. And these aren't available in Alberta. There's just no counterfeits here at all. This is listed as a 2002. And that 2002, that's called they originally called it a camel toe, but it's kind of rude. It's split toe. So that's the 2002 one. They did a pretty good job of making these bloody counterfeits. And this is a 2006 one that they did. So these are fakes. But the only way you can tell is by looking at the toes. Yeah, that is quite interesting to find this stuff. Oh, excellent. Thanks for doing that for me. I'll take a look at it here. Yep. Yeah, it's and someone has made a lot of money because they went into circulation there, and they're literally hundreds and hundreds of the bloody things. Hey, Vera, nice to see you. Yeah, okay. Not likely. Yeah. So that's one of the other things that I would recommend is again go to Discord, give it a shot, find a community that you feel good with, and the other thing too is try places like Coining Around is a fun. If you ever get a chance, go to that channel. It's tremendous. Nick Molnar. If you want information on Canadian coins, please try out his channel. He gives great detail on each of the coins that he shows. And mine is strictly I'm there to uh, call it priming the pump. I'm getting the water flowing here to try to get you to do your own research. And if you join me in my little competition every 7 days, whoever provides the best and continual information, that person will get one of my channel stickers. And maybe if they're really good, I'll throw in a coin. Well, hello there. Look at these people coming in here. My goodness, nice to see you. Wow. Yep. And those of you that have not gotten into the British coins, they have got some very cool coins over there. Still haven't been able to find anybody to send me a Kew Gardens 50 pence. I mean, come on, be generous. But my brother-in-law is living in Manchester, and I can't even get him to send me stuff. But and my good friend Dale, he's been busy looking for a new house to live in. Apparently, it's hard to find any accommodations in Great Britain at the moment. I'm sure you guys that are living over there can vouch for him. And perhaps next week, what I'll do is I will get one or two of you up with me, and if you have coins to share, please, we can share not just Canadian, but we can take a look at British, Greek, whatever, and have some fun and get some ideas of what you do for your hobby and how you're collecting. But in the meantime, I will continue with the historical side first, so that you have a little bit better insight into Canada as we progress through the centuries, and then we'll swing over and we'll talk about coins. Yeah, I know. I kid about it. There, it's just not going to happen. Yeah, you guys have got some really. Actually, I like some of the euros and especially the idea. And a lot of you guys in North America may not know this, but the euros, you go country to country, even though they're good and throughout all the European Union, they have their own designs on the coins, and I think that's very cool. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna call her quits today. It's been raining like crazy out, and I'm going to order in some dinner because I'm being extremely lazy today. And my wife and I are going to sit back, put our feet up, maybe watch a movie, and then I'm going to continue to send out a few packages that I'm falling behind on here to folks that I've been trading and sharing coins with. And if any of you ever do want to swap coins with me, just all you got to do is email me to let me know if you're interested. And again, there's my email address right there, and we will talk about swapping some coins. And again, if you ever get a chance, check out Blistering Barnacle's channel while he goes for his bike rides. I should do that too. Except my area is not as green. That's pretty green today with all the rain. Kind of reminds me of where he's living. So, and no, I'm not on Numista. That I said about it. I was talking about it earlier. Is that especially if you're a new collector, that's a good idea to start with Numista. I started using Excel spreadsheets. I'm dating myself here. And for me to try to switch over would take me months of work, and I do not have the enthusiasm to do that. But Numista is a very good program to use for logging your collection. Oh, that's crazy. Yeah, no, I think I've seen them for like 150 pounds or something along that lines, which is still, in my mind, that's still a pretty good chunk of change. But yeah, my goal right now for it's not even the I just want the common British coinage, and I'm going to have to start getting a hold of some information so I have it listed so I know what I'm missing. My British book kind of looks like this. You know, I got all kinds of weird little things in there, but it's not as fancy schmancy as I'd like. But you know what? It works. Very good. Well, if none of you have anything more to say, I am going to dock my ship here. Yeah. Just use my send me your information there. I'll using my email, and I'll wait a minute. I think I have your address. I do have your address. Email anyway. Write me on my email, and I'll give you my address as well, because I already have yours. In the meantime, everybody, thank you for dropping by, and I'll be back in a week. And look for my daily coin challenge for Canadian coins, and please participate and have some fun. Take care, everybody. Cheers.